Sedra is Sedra's Balak. Inspiration is a rare commodity. It costs nothing, but inspiration is in constant demand. Human beings set all sorts of goals for themselves and frequently desire to achieve their goals, but often fall short because they lack the inspiration to get past the many pitfalls that inhibit achievement of their goals. In this week's Torah portion, we learn about Balak, the king of Moab, who was scared of the Jewish people, and Bilaam, a non-Jewish prophet. The Torah portion opens up with the following verses. Balak, the son of Zippor, the king of Moab, saw that the Jewish people had done to what they had done to the Amorim. Moab was alarmed because the Jewish people were so numerous. Moab dreaded the Jewish people. Moab said to the elders of Midian, "Now this horde will lick clean all that is about us as an ox licks up the grass of the field." Balak, the son of Zippor, who was the king of Moab at that time, sent messengers to the prophet Bala of Bor, which is by the Euphrates in the land of his kinsfolk, to invite him, saying, "There is a people that came out of Egypt. It hides the earth from view, and it is settled next to me. Come then, put a curse upon these people for me, since they are too numerous for me. Perhaps I can defeat them and drive them out of the land. For I know that he who you bless is blessed, indeed, and he who you curse is cursed." In his commentary to the episode of Balak and Bilam, Rashi wrote, "If you ask, why did Hashem let his Shekhinah, the manifestation of God in this world, rest upon so wicked a heathen? I reply that in order that the idolatrous people should have no excuse to say, if we only had prophets, we would have changed for the better. So God raised up prophets for them. Yet these prophets broke down the moral fence of the world, because at first the heathens refrained from more immoral living, but Balaam canceled them to freely offer themselves to prostitution." Rashi's comment is fascinating, but also confusing. The idolatrous nations were going to blame their sinful ways on a lack of a prophet, because they assumed that a prophet would inspire them not to sin. The expectation would be that when they had a prophet, he would inspire them not to sin. Yet look at the events as Rashi explained them. Instead of inspiring the people, the prophets led them to a path of sinfulness. The prophets, not the people, failed. The prophets who were supposed to inspire the non-Jewish people to avoid idolatrous behavior instead led them to a path where they were supposed to help the people avoid. Rashi explained that God sent the non-Jews a prophet to inspire the people and help them avoid sin, which they would inevitably fail, and sin in spite of the prophet trying to inspire them to be better than their previous sinful ways. Yet, it wasn't the people that sinned, it was the prophet. How could the people be blamed when they sent the prophet that led them to sin? A prophet's role is to inspire the people not to sin, but he's only effective as the people's desire. Inspiration isn't a magic elixir, it only works in a hospitable environment. When the people aren't looking to grow and achieve, inspiration will have no effect. The idolaters of Bilam's time were so primitive that not only did a prophet's inspiration have no effect on them, but they actually flipped the prophet to encourage sin instead of inspiring the people. The heathens had no excuse for their sinful ways. God sent them a prophet and they rejected him. The lesson of Rashi's commentary is obvious. All too often we excuse the lack of achievement by claiming we weren't sufficiently inspired. If only we had a prophet, a miracle, or a sign from God, then we'd follow the Torah, we often say. But life and inspiration don't work that way. We need to be internally self-motivated, and then inspiration helps us fight the roadblocks in our way. We need to take that first step. What an important lesson. Shabbat Shalom.